What the hell are you doing with that basketball? I didn't know you sport.
He's a globetrotter.
I'm a globetrotter, yeah.
You're from Harlem?
This is actually...
No, I'm not from Harlem.
No, he's from the Globe.
Welcome to the Hammock life,
We're
everyone.
the worst. Yeah, wasn't that your job today?
I did. I introduced Bill spinning a fucking basketball for no reason.
Nice.
Like,
Well,
that, I mean,
Nice. So today we're excited. We're having Miguel, owner of New England Brewing out of... Or New England, wow.
New England Cider.
Oh, my God, I'm the worst. Wallingford, Connecticut. Joining us today, we're talking about cider, beer, all the things. We have cross communities for sure. So before we introduce Miguel, I know Bill had a couple things to say.
Yeah, before we get into all of that, don't forget, subscribe, like the episode, share it, hit that bell for the notifications for when we have new episodes coming out. And, let's get into it.
I changed the camera.
How are you, Miguel?
Thank
Welcome.
you, guys. Appreciate it. Very good. Very good. Yeah. And no worry about the New England Brewing.
Yeah, I'm the
everyone
worst.
does that.
It
Everyone
happens
does that. Yeah.
all the time.
It's like,
Absolutely.
I'm a brewery, so I'm like, oh, damn it. Why did I do that? I'm the worst, man.
Everybody does it.
It's like it's the life you live kind of thing.
The people come in with a passport, they want to get it signed. Like, no, you guys are on this thing. Like, you guys are definitely on this. Like, no, cider.
Yeah.
I see it. It says New England right here.
Yeah, it's like it's the so for you guys it's probably similar to us as far as like when someone's like, oh, no worries, and it's like 5, 4, ha ha ha, and we're like, yeah, we got it. Like
One more time, guy. One more time.
Yeah.
buddy.
I mean, I love it. It's cool, but it's like you just get over. Like it's like, yeah, we saw that before. It's cool.
100%.
No big deal. Nice, man.
Yeah,
So
I'm definitely excited to have you on because I mean I've known you guys for a long time. I found out about you guys shortly after you opened in Wallingford, where I live, and
Yeah, you're one of the OGs over there.
before that, I never liked cider at all, but my exposure was very, very limited. I've had some commercial ciders here and there that, bigger brand commercial ciders like
Right.
Angry Orchard or whatever, and I was just never a fan. I came across you guys at, I think it was Knuckleheads. It was on draft, and I fucking loved it. I was like, I got to find out.
Awesome.
I actually do like cider. Let me go check
the
these guys
story's
out.
very
Wait,
believable.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
What?
You go to Knuckleheads?
No, never.
It's a very believable story right
I
now.
made it up for the episode.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's
So-
really cool to hear that though. Like, cause you're not the only person that said that to us. Even like Tom M always said that to us. I didn't like cider, then I tried your stuff, and it really turned me on to it. And I guess that's what we really try to get people to appreciate is something other than the commercial brands that you might have had, whether it's Angry Orchard, which don't get me wrong, they do great stuff. You go to Walden, and they're doing phenomenal ciders over there. But the mass-produced stuff, it's what everybody thinks about.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, for me, to your point, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just it was too sweet for me. It's not
Always,
my.
yeah.
It's not my.
Always the reaction
It's
we
not
hear.
my
Yep.
style.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I liked cider. I found your guys' stuff, and I was like, okay, actually, I might
Yeah.
like cider.
Yeah.
I will fully admit, most of my cider interaction prior to maybe 5 years ago was in college doing 50-50s of woodchuck and Guinness.
That's it. It's always woodchuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
woodchuck. Yep. That's
Yep.
always the intro for everybody.
I was
but-
missing
That's
out.
funny.
Yeah, but I mean, Bill was coming into our place when we were like 90% of our ciders were dry.
Yeah.
So it was a
Right.
completely different platform of ciders where we're even at today, where we've kind of switched everything around, and mostly everything we do is on the sweeter palate. But it's kind of crazy that like I don't prefer the sweet stuff, but that's what people want, and
Yeah.
then there's folks that fall in between that don't like the sweet stuff, and
Yeah.
and that's when you came into our,
right,
to our
and
place.
even in my opinion, though, the stuff that you guys do that's on the sweeter side, I could still drink it. It's not overly sweet. It's not
Yeah.
cloying to me.
Yeah.
It does the trick.
Yeah, we always try to hit the nice
Speaking of-
nice balance. Yeah.
Speaking of, we have a pumpkin one right from you guys right now. And before you should describe it. Before you do, I was going to add in, I think the one thing that's neat, especially when it comes to local, I mean, you guys were the original Connecticut cidery, right?
No, I wouldn't say we're the original. We're probably the one of the first ones to do draft style cider.
Okay, it's draft style, all
Yeah,
right.
like tap room style like that. There's been cideries in Connecticut for a long time.
All right.
We're probably one of like the 9th permits that ever got pulled here.
Right.
You got guys like Bishops that were doing it for ages.
Right. I always forget about those kind of guys. Yeah,
Jones Tree Farm in Shelton, they were doing cider. I don't think they do cider anymore.
Right.
BF Clyde's, guys like that. Holmberg has been doing cider for ages, and they do a nice product in a can now too. But I think currently we're actually the largest producer, but we're definitely not definitely not the first.
That's cool to learn though, and I mean I think part of my thought process too, which is neat as we learn through this process of like cideries, right? Is that proper?
Yeah, cideries, right? Yep.
I don't want to bastardize it, and then I think it's cool because like the artisanal portion of it that you don't necessarily originally, because if you only expose like woodchuck or something else like that originally anyway, say like 5-10 years ago, you only knew like sort of the sweet or maybe the dry version of it. You guys do, and I'm sure others do as well, of course, like different things with it. So similar to craft beer, you're creating new flavors. You're using not just the apples to your at your hands, or you're also using other ingredients. Like so similar to this one, this is a pumpkin version, right?
Yep.
I mean, you guys do a blueberry, which is very, very popular.
I love the blueberry.
So you have a lot of variants that people love. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to dig into this one a little quick. I'm going to crack it open and finish this, but
yeah, absolutely.
Let us know about it.
Yeah, the pumpkin cider, it's our seasonal. We only run it for a few months. We started off doing it everything fresh. So everything was fresh roasted pumpkins. We were roasting them at home, scooping them out, pressing them to try to get like juice out of pumpkin puree, which is basically impossible. It's like trying to press paste, essentially.
Come on, baby.
Let's get that water out of that stone right
anything
now.
out of it.
That's awesome.
And we've switched it up. We've tried flavorings, but we stuck to a puree and a spice from Nutmeg Spice Company, actually. So local spice company.
That's cool.
And it's a nice balance. It's not overly sweet. And it's not overly spicy. And it's got a decent amount of a squash flavor to it. It's just a nice fall beverage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good like. It's great to hear that portion because, like you said, I mean, I think for me, I don't know about you guys. When I think cider, you think sweet, even when it's dry.
Yeah.
Which is sort of funny when you have this balance between having that sort of squash, earthy tone. It's still sweet, but it's also has these, like vegetableness going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's almost like a yin yang balance. I mean, I know you love like meads and stuff. I don't know like the variance between that, like the bridge a little bit, but there is a sort of like that, like cascade between like a beer. Like you get the mead, which is obviously from honey, and then you have a cider. So it's sort of a neat little like, play between all three different types of styles from different materials and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, and I've noticed this through my brewing attempts at everything, cider and mead, where we have the higher when a beer is a little sweeter versus drier. That same situation with cider and mead is a much more dramatic scale. And I don't think people realize, for the most part, that there are three different, sweet, semi-sweet, dry when it comes to ciders. And and I think that's why there's some misconception about it, personally.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, you've got dry, semi-dry, semi-sweet, and then sweet. So there's four stages of that level, but they can be very subtle. I mean, the range between dry and semi-dry is almost indistinguishable. And if you're, I don't use Play-Doh, but if you use specific gravity, there's only like points of difference in between, and sometimes you can't even tell. Like ours is technically semi-sweet. But it borders on the line of sweet, and it's it's just a matter of what is too much for somebody's palate.
Right.
And that's what we've come to learn, is that everybody's got a different palate. You can't always make what you want to make, and you got to make what people want to make or want to drink.
Yeah. I mean, you're still a business, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're all
exactly,
passionate about what we do.
Yep.
You wouldn't have gotten into it if you didn't like cider. If you weren't into it, or you wouldn't be sticking with it anyway. You would probably stepped away and let someone else run it for you. I mean, realistically. Similar with the beer industry, you're gonna take that feedback from customers.
100%. You have
and be like, hey, let me craft it as best as I can, what I'm passionate about, by also hitting on the notes, right, that people want.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is cool.
And there's room for everything when you're making something for somebody else, for yourself. There's a broad range, just like you guys. Make so many different beers, and there's probably some that you don't really enjoy as much as your customers do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely tend to, lagers, lighter beers in general. But at the end of the day, I'm feeling an IPA. I'm going to drink one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm drinking 10 of them, but like I'm definitely not driving home after that.
Yeah,
By the way, this is delicious.
I was that's
Thank
where
you.
I was gonna
Thank
get
you.
into.
Pat's missing out.
I drink slow. I'm pounding this so I can get to it.
And a quick before I interrupt Bill, a quick side. You guys are canning now.
Yeah.
which
We
is
just
freaking
started that. That
awesome.
was actually, I guess, a good thing that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, on the downside, you lost bars and restaurants, but on the upside, we're in a completely different format now. We're pushing out our core brand of ciders in cans. Fresh Blend's is in cans now. Blueberries in cans.
Nice.
We're doing our seasonal in cans, so it's just keeping us busy. It's keeping us busy. Yeah.
Are you doing all the hand canning yourself, or do you have someone come in
So
and
we're
doing it?
starting off right now with a manual. It's the cask MCS,
Okay.
Yeah.
the 2-head can filler, which a lot of guys are familiar with, and it's it's a long process. 7 barrels takes us about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Plus we have to pasteurize. We can do it in tandem now, but we're moving forward.
Yeah,
It's making
but,
it work.
Nice thing is it's getting in there.
That's right.
I mean, I had good pressure too when I popped it. I mean,
Yep.
make sure everybody heard it.
Yeah,
but
we do our ciders a little bit brighter than most people do. So we're at about like 3 to 2.5 volumes.
All right.
Typically, sometimes we prefer them a little bit brighter, but once you start, pasteurizing and in the can, you start blowing up cans and stuff.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. This is nice.
With the moisture under my can right now, it's like dancing a little bit with the fan. It's
Yeah.
great.
I must admit,
It's drunk.
at this point of my beer drinking career, I loathe pumpkin beers. Mostly because of how early they started coming out,
Yeah,
and
yep.
they're just so overdone.
Well, and
This is absolutely phenomenal.
Right,
Thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin cider.
I
Okay.
hate
So I didn't.
pumpkin.
I
He
didn't
doesn't
really.
drink your stuff enough.
No, I
Most
yeah.
people don't drink pumpkin anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like they stay away from that. I mean, we were kind of the same way. But that it's trendy. People enjoy it. It sells well. And yeah, the early seasonality of it, like I didn't think I was going to be canning pumpkin in August.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to me to think about it. And my distributor calls me. He's like, "Hey, when are we going to get the pumpkin?" I'm like, "Now, I guess."
On
Like,
it.
yeah, we're going to get it to you.
Yeah, I really don't like pumpkin stuff at all, whether it's coffee, beer, whatever. But this isn't. Most of those things are way in your face with the pumpkin spice, the pumpkin pie spice, whatever they're using.
Yep.
This is really, really well balanced.
Thank
like
you.
I can absolutely drink this, and I had it last year too. You guys did it last year, right?
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
doing it for the last 4 years or so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I've always enjoyed it.
Thank you,
It's
guys.
really, really good.
Yeah, nailing it right now, man.
Appreciate it.
Going really quick. I mean, because obviously we chatted earlier. This is obviously people know beer. Hopefully, when they're watching this, maybe there's someone upon it now. And when we brew beer, we're focused on barley, hops and yeast and all that kind of stuff, and obviously ciders, apples.
Right.
Right. High level, just to try to get people engaged a little bit. Like, what's your process? Very high level, obviously, not too crazy. If they want to learn more, they can come down to the cidery and learn.
Absolutely. There's always room to learn a little bit more, but we're actually a little bit more like wine when you think about it. We're a fruit-based product. Our TTB, our federal permit, is a wine permit, so it's fruit-based. So we're starting off with either fresh fruit, or in our case, we buy juice in bulk, just like the way breweries buy grains and hops. Not everything is hyper local, but we do some hyper local stuff. We occasionally do press in house. We'll do single variety stuff, and we crush and press that all in house. There is a difference. I will say there is a difference when you have fresh fruit. But it's a fairly, I would say, a little bit more of a simple product. We don't boil anything. We're not cooking stuff. We're not mashing in. We're not adding hops. And everything that we do add, typically flavorings or anything like that, we do post-fermentation. But it's similar. You have yeast, nutrients, and then your base sugar, which is, in our case, apple juice.
Right.
We still have similar steps to you guys in the beer industry, where we're racking off. We do filtration now. We do a lot of filtration, actually, thanks to thanks to you. It's been really, really good. It's been helping us turn our product around a lot faster and a lot cleaner than our previous methods. So there's some fining, there's some aging, and then after we're done, we blend up and we make whatever we're gonna make afterwards. We haven't really dove into co-fermentations much. Like, putting in spices or anything like that during fermentation,
Mm-hmm.
just because we don't have the smaller vessels to do that with temperature control. So
Right.
everything's on the 50 barrel kind of scale, and it just kind of keep it that way, and then blend post fermentation.
Yeah.
Well, that's also nice from the production standpoint of like your distributor called you and said, "Hey, we need pumpkin." Like
Exactly.
you may have been planning on making that a raspberry cider,
Exactly.
but now the demand is there.
Yep.
Instead of waiting 4 weeks to get a product out, you can change gears
Yeah.
tomorrow, which
It's
is
it's pretty much the standard in the industry as well, where you're making a base product and then you're kind of blending afterwards. Some
Yeah,
some cideries will even do, which we don't do. We stick with one yeast. They'll do like 5 fermentation vessels, 5 different yeasts, and then they'll blend all that stuff together at the end. We just stick with one yeast, wine base. I just keep it clean the whole way through.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. I mean, in some ways, it's very similar to beer in terms of like, maybe not all through and through, but like, say bigger location, you're brewing, an IPA or something like that, and say it comes down a little bit lower in ABV. Some places will actually brew the same beer but at a higher gravity, blend that back in. So you're in some ways you are rebrewing the same base and then doing what
Gotcha.
you're doing.
Okay.
Barrel stuff I think is very similar too.
Yeah.
As far as what you're doing. And my assumption is what you were saying as far as like adding things in like during fermentation. I guess that could be similar to if we were, if you guys dry hopped, right? Like we dry hop, we do it like
Right.
tail end or
Right.
or sometimes active depending on the beer.
Yep.
Fermentation. So I'm assuming like if you added like cinnamon, I don't know, it's a terrible example probably, but like towards like halfway through fermentation, that would be sort of similar to how we dry hop in some ways, right?
That's exactly how it would be actually.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the first. So we learned a lot from the brewing industry, from the brewery guys. Like that's who really helped us out in a lot of aspects when we first opened up. And one of the first adjuncts we ever used and put in our cider was hops.
Nice.
That was one of the first things we went for, because it was what we knew.
Mm-hmm.
We knew the hops that we liked in beer and the flavor characteristics that we wanted in the cider. And that's kind of what we went with. And that's exactly how we did it. We basically like dry steeped it. Dry steep it, cold steep it. We're not cooking it or anything like that. It's just right after it's done, you put it in. It sits in there like a tea.
Yeah. That's
Yep, like a
exactly
tea
how
bag, yeah.
exactly how dry hopping is.
Yep.
I mean, we can do it at
Beer
different
too,
stages
yeah.
for sure, but I mean, I don't know if you want to add some to that, but
No, I was just saying with beer too. That's
yeah.
same thing.
Like sometimes we'll do it during times, right? But it's not like it's if it's fermenting, but it's not. Obviously, yeah, we do add hops like when it's hot, but a lot of them, especially IPAs, do, we're putting in 95% of the hops after we're done brewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What I find cool about your guys' place is that it's very similar to a brewery tap room vibe.
Mhm.
Like you. Where was I going with this?
They're very similar to a
Welcome
brewery
to the
rather,
Hammock life.
rather than a winery. Are they similar to a brewery?
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly
I
where
know
was
this guy.
going. Yep. So, what was there a specific decision-making process that went along with that? Did you want to fit in with the beer community a little bit more, or did you want to be your own thing?
You know,
What
I think
the
it
thought
was. I think it
process?
was mostly the influence. Like being influenced by the beer community.
That's cool.
Kind of starting off as like home brewing, and that kind of aspect. Always going to like beer festivals and all that kind of stuff. So having
Yeah.
that influence, I don't know if we really had too much of an actual idea when we were putting our tap room together. It was a little bit more of a, we got to get it done. Let's get it done and open.
I know that feeling.
We were definitely going for, like a cozy country kind of feel, but not really like super, super rustic by any means.
Yep.
And obviously our space is small, so we had that to work with, and it turns out it makes it feel like that, makes it feel cozy and, and comfortable like that. So
Yeah, I mean to add to both of you guys too, it's like, I know I think I met you like first get go. I mean, you pop by, you live in the neighborhood too, but like I remember meeting you like earlier on. I don't know if it was a festival or at the brewery, one of the two.
I think it was one of those right up on Whitney Avenue over here, the Irish Club.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
the basement
yeah,
over there. Yeah.
Yep. It was cool though because it was like, very, very similar as far as like attitude.
Yeah.
And just like being like, hey, open book, blah blah blah, come on down, and vice versa. Like, hey, I've been around for a little bit. If anything, I can teach you guys or just be a resource for, and that was awesome. So it's sort of funny where you're like, well, this is sort of how naturally you pointed north towards maybe unintentionally skewing towards a brewery a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also see it from the customer side. I mean, people who come through the tap room, they're like, they love you guys, and I think it's because you're offering a different product.
Sure.
Obviously a different atmosphere to a degree, but it's also very approachable, which is the idea. I think that's why breweries are very, accessible in
it's
general.
still familiar to the brewery crowd, as
Right.
opposed to a winery or something like that,
100%.
which could be a little bit more
Rigid.
Yeah,
a little
or
more rigid.
at least perception, and
Perceivably
right.
rigid.
some of them aren't, but I
No.
mean, you go into some, it's like you're walking into like, I feel like I need a collared shirt right now.
Right,
Some of them are
right.
like
Exactly,
more
yeah,
like
exactly.
loose.
A lot of it's circumstantial too for
Yeah.
some of the decision making that we did. It was like we got to go draft because that's going to be the easiest way to get into bars and restaurants and get our kind of name out there instead of getting lost in cans right away. We started off doing it, basically moonlighting, full-time job, and then delivering stuff in Honda Civics at the end of the night. 18 logs in the back of your car. So
I thought you delivered on a motorcycle.
that would have been perfect.
No,
sidecar.
Vespas.
I'm just picturing a motorcycle with like 18 kegs on the back. Like
The leather satchel.
it's like some third world country with just a guy with just like a
on your head.
That's a case of glassware. That's a case of glassware up there.
So I mentioned that because there was one day Miguel showed up on his motorcycle. Motorcycle comes rolling up. I'm like, man, that's a badass motorcycle. And then Miguel comes strutting in. I was like, oh, that's Miguel's motorcycle? That's awesome.
And he had like two growlers in hand, probably. Like, hey guys, I brought some stuff for you to try.
Well, when you
He's
hold
like,
the
yes.
handlebars, you got your thumbs. They can hold the growler. I can see how that could work.
That's perfect.
I guess you must have missed me the day I rolled up in the scooter with the basket in the front. I had my 2 growlers in the front basket.
as well as E.T. E.T. was there too.
That's fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's cool though that our communities are so like intertwined. I mean, I don't think personally, I don't look at it as really being different. It's just getting people like, and we always get asked, and now that you guys have cans, I mean, our goal is to actually have you guys on like all the time.
Awesome.
But whenever we have you guys on tap here, when we have a guest line available,
It goes fast.
It flies.
It
People are
flies.
like, oh, or people are like, hey, do you have a cider? Can you make a cider? I'm like, well, we
That's
don't make
awesome.
cider,
Yeah.
but we have friends that make cider.
Yep.
They make good cider. I'm not looking to copy that. Like, why not? Like, let the guys that do it well do it well.
Right, exactly. And people ask us the same thing, like, how come you guys don't do beer? I'm like, that's not what I want to do. You can go anywhere and go get beer. Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to
Right.
do beer. We're not beer makers. Like, there's guys that are doing that and
Yeah,
know how to do that.
Yeah, like personally, it's like I could make really crappy cider, or I can just
Yeah,
get some from somebody that makes it really freaking good. Like, what's the point?
I know a guy who knows what he's doing. Let him do it.
For sure.
No,
yeah,
I
so
gotta
it's
say
exciting,
that
man.
the beer industry, like I said, has always been super like arms open. Right off the get go, I mean, we did a collaboration, and when we weren't even anything, with Black Hog. Doing beer festivals and getting invited to beer festivals was just like wow, like
Yeah.
how did you guys even hear about us? And then all of a sudden, like we're the only cidery at a beer festival, and it was weird because we're the only cider there at a beer festival. But it was a really good opportunity to convert people, like you had said in the beginning of the show, where they would not even want to look at your booth because it says cider.
Right.
They're like, no, like that's for girls only, or that's
but
not
just
really.
give it a shot.
Yeah,
though.
give it a try, and then they'll look at the ABV. That was always the catcher. Oh, 7.5%. Like, oh, okay, I'll try that out.
Of course,
your
beer,
highest ABV?
Of course,
Yeah.
beer fest.
Well, you just give it a shot. Give it a shot. Yeah, I'm like, it's got hops in it. You might like it. And-
Classic.
People beer fest wrong because I always go to the cider booths because I want stuff that is different from like the 18 breweries that brought
Right.
their flagship IPA.
Yeah.
I'm looking
It's a
for
good
that.
palate reset.
Yeah.
and
So-
it doesn't fill you up either. You don't get for me anyways,
Yeah.
I don't get
No,
full off
I
of cider
agree.
as much.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah, I mean, talking about collaborations, not that we didn't fully collaborate last year, but we did. You guys, because you mentioned earlier, you pressed some stuff locally.
Yeah,
so you guys
that's
had
right.
a little bit of extra juice last year.
That's right. Yeah.
So we want to.
Holy shit! I forgot all about this.
It was delicious, Bill.
It was very good. Holy
So
shit!
it's gonna go full circle really quickly. Is like we did like a mini one. You guys made the juice. We sort of did a
Yep.
small pilot. It was Sizer.
Graph.
Graph.
A
Oh,
graph. Yeah.
It's not an official.
Can't bring you guys anywhere.
Which apparently comes from Stephen King.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think,
real, but
the Dark Tower series.
Yeah, it's not an officially recognized thing. I think because it's like I think we did like a 60-40 split or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was 60-40. So you guys gave us the juice, and then on the pilot system we brewed a small beer. We blended those together in the tank and then fermented them simultaneously.
Oh,
And
okay.
it-
Yep.
And people loved it. And I remember you mentioned earlier, for people who have been paying attention and taking notes, You know, a lot of
Mike.
what we learned is a lot of your technique. Like, so yeah, you don't boil, you don't do a lot of stuff up front, but really, what you guys are doing is you're like babysitting that juice. You're making it like the fermentation is really what takes the effort.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Because we like over fermented it unintentionally. You're like, oh well, next time when we do this, we should add this and this. And it was like, next time we ferment this, you're coming over. Like that was like the conversation. Because I think it came out great and people loved it. Like they loved it.
Yeah,
but from someone that's like a cider master, if you will, like you're like, all right, well, it's pretty good, but we can make it better. You know? And
yeah,
that's
for sure.
It was
and
cool.
it was definitely like a time crunch kind of thing. I was like, I'll be down, and then I never came down. I was like,
Yeah,
gosh, I never made it down.
Yeah, and I was literally throwing a shot in the dark, and I was like, I was surprised about how much I liked it.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was definitely good.
Yeah, it was fun though. So I mean, I just feel like that was cool. I'm glad that you forgot that.
Totally forgot about it.
Me too.
I did not. I was just waiting to see when it came up.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it before when he was mentioning like how their process was, and I just remember that being like, yeah, like fermentation. A lot of things are very similar, but I think the biggest things that you guys have a lot to do with like how you treat that within nutrients and making the yeast happy, making the final product great, and it went well because what the yeast we use and the base of the beer fermented great, but at the end of the day, it was the same with anything we brew ever. It's like, oh, that was pretty good, and customers love it, but we're totally going to change that next time, and learning from you as far as the cider portion, it's like, all right, not only do we want to fix the beer portion of it, we also want to fix how we ferment that cider, that juice. And
yeah, absolutely.
It was just a cool process to do for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes me think of another point, like the feedback, that I might have given you guys last year. I kind of do remember tasting the cider and giving you some feedback, but like I'm always pretty. I feel like if you're not honest with your colleagues about that kind of stuff, like there's no room for improvement.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
if I made something and someone said, "Oh wow, it's amazing," and then they turn around and go, "Like this is garbage,"
This guy doesn't
you
know
should have
shit.
just told me
Yeah.
because I won't know if everyone says everything is great. Like you just don't grow. So I think it's great to give each other feedback in the community. Like like we should be doing this together and trying this differently because we could definitely improve on it.
Right.
Maybe we need a little bit more time, a little bit more planning, whatever it is. But yeah, if you don't know what you're doing wrong, or if nobody tells you that you're doing something wrong,
Right.
you think you're
No,
your stuff
100%
is bees
agreed.
knees, yeah.
I mean, our friends in our industry, and I'm not going to say that. I mean, they've all been pretty honest. Like, hey, I see where you're going with it. Like whatever it is. I mean, it could be something that we're stoked about and love it. Even if it's like, hey, man, just pull out any hair you can.
Yeah.
Even if it's one nugget where we can look at it, and we do it ourselves, obviously too. We're our own critics, but at the same point in time, you're so close to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
because you want to love it. You're like, I want this to be good.
Yeah, or you taste what you did change. Like
Yeah.
like you know the nuances of like your liquid. So like you're like, oh, we did this a little bit differently. You taste that, but you necessarily don't taste everything else that you were
Exactly.
trying to look on, right?
See, I'm on the opposite end. Normally, I hate it. Everyone else might love it, but I'm like, fuck, I hate it. Because there's one little thing one little thing I know I want to change, and I'm like, I hate it.
Yeah.
I've gotten better over time.
It's not a
but-
dog.
Yeah, Bill, I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
Oh
smell.
no! Oh no!
You smell.
You smell.
Deodorant.
You wanted honest feedback. I just gave you some.
I mean, I did play my best round
Two
of disc
caps.
golf ever
Two
today.
caps.
So.
Yeah.
But I mean, that honest feedback can be tough though because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Exactly.
sometimes. So
there's a right way to do it.
Right,
You
yeah.
know?
For sure. And how well do you
And-
know somebody? Right?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the hard part too. Like, oh, what do you think about this? Like,
And, yeah,
Okay.
and-
If I've never met you before,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be an,
No,
I feel like
no,
I'm gonna
no,
ask you at that
absolutely.
point, yeah.
Do you want
No.
feedback or do you want to hear what I'm
Yeah.
actually thinking?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I tell people, I'm like, hey, try this. Just don't hold any punches. Just let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt my feelings. I just want to know what you
Oh,
really,
thank God,
really
man.
think.
This
Yeah.
tastes like watermelon. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because even way before speaking of watermelon, that yellow watermelon one you did.
Oh,
a couple,
gosh,
oh
yeah,
my
so many
God,
years ago,
that
yeah.
was so good. Anyway, even before I was working here full time, I was heavily involved in the homebrew community, and trying to give people that more honest feedback was always a struggle because you didn't want them to take it the wrong way. You didn't want their feelings to be hurt, but you also wanted to be constructive and
Yeah. I mean,
and
it's the same
it's
feeling
a
you
fine
get
line
when your
sometimes,
waitress
yeah.
comes up to you and says, "How's your meal?"
It's okay.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Like it's got to be
always
pretty.
hard.
It's got to be pretty
You can't,
bad.
like,
for
you
to
don't,
be
yeah,
like,
to,
like,
to say anything because you really don't want to upset anybody or.
There was a rat in my mashed potatoes. Like,
But I'll eat it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I eat around it.
I drank that way too quick.
I see that.
Good thing there's
I
another
guess
one.
Cam's not gonna have
Give me
any.
more.
It's fine.
Oh,
I can bring you guys.
Cam's
more.
not supposed to be drinking anyway. It's fine.
that's right. We'll get Cam more.
He's dry.
I'll buy some for
Yeah.
Cam since I drank.
Cool. I mean, so you guys have a tap room, right?
Yeah.
Want to give a quick lowdown for the people watching?
Sure.
what
Yeah.
you
So
got?
we're always changing our hours because we're crazy. But right
And
now with
times
COVID,
are crazy.
COVID right now. But we're kind of in our season right now. The fall season's coming up.
Yeah.
So we're open 2 to 9, Monday through Saturday.
Nice.
Sunday we're open 1 through 8. So long hours, 7 days a week right now.
Yeah.
Bar staff's great. We've got outdoor seating, 6 ciders on draft, cans when we have them.
Yeah. And you're distributed too, right?
We're distributed through
Yeah,
Craft
yeah.
Beer Guild. Yep, they're
Dog friendly.
we're dog friendly. Yep.
That's
As
all
long as-
Bill.
as
That's
long as
literally
it's-
all Bill
They
cares
just
about.
got to be They got to be a working dog.
Yeah, for
It's a
sure.
working dog.
No test required.
Exactly.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, we distribute the whole state right now. Bars, restaurants, well, whichever ones are still
Yeah.
doing all right. Yeah.
Hopefully in a couple of months we'll
Um,
get some more open.
Breweries, like I said, always open arms. They've always helped us out, and those are our biggest accounts. And now the liquor stores, liquor stores are giving us some love. And if it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't have that love. So it's been doing well with the cans.
Nice. So before we close out, unless you guys have something else,
Nope.
we
Right
should.
on.
That was quick.
I feel like we should figure out another collaboration, maybe a little less crazy. this
Yeah,
year.
absolutely.
Maybe like winter.
Oh, way to put him on
yeah.
the spot.
I've got we've got local juice, local apples coming in
We can call the beer
end of September.
on the spot.
All right.
So it's something that we could do in house, like a press in house.
Cool. All
We
right.
could do right in house and
Yeah.
have the real local flora.
Nice.
But I actually spoke to a grower today, and the stuff will be coming in.
Perfect time. You knew
Yeah.
it was coming up. That's
Yep.
what it was. You're like,
Yep.
all right, before I go on the hammock life, guys, I got to figure this out.
So we can't call it on the spot then because
No.
he thought about it
He knew.
already.
It was a subconscious. It was a subconscious thing. Yeah.
See, Bill, now you can't hate me anymore.
Well,
No, I know I still do.
something to maybe look forward to, but when we do it, we'll
Yeah.
get you into the ferment. Let us know what
Yeah, that could be really
additives
fun.
we gotta do.
That could
and
be really fun. Yeah.
yeah, it could be cool. I mean, like I said, people loved it. Like, I forget what it came. It came in a little high. Because it was the blend. It was like 7.
it was
I think.
around 8. I
I
thought.
Was it
do
8?
not
It was up there a little
I don't
bit.
I remember it being in a short, like in a
Yeah.
high ABV glass.
Yeah,
That's what I remember.
I want to say it was around 8.
But I'd be excited to do it again. I
you're
mean,
right.
people were
100%.
loving it, and either way, this was a great time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for having me on.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll throw the social links in below so you guys can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, get to their tap room, support those guys, and anything else?
I'm good. Play the
Theme
song.
music. All right. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
everybody.
Until next
All
time, keep living that hammock life.